Audio Jungle.
Yo, what's going on, man? Day 36. Welcome back. So, here we go. All right. I have said this word probably 30 times so far in this training, the first 5 weeks. This is your hammer. Okay, this is your hammer. And the reason I call it a hammer, Charlie Munger always likes to talk about man with a hammer syndrome. Right? A guy finds something, a tool that works really well for him, and all of a sudden he starts using it everywhere with everything with everybody. And of course, not everything is a nail, but he perceives it to be because he likes this damn hammer so much. You're going to be like this with urgency when you first start using it. You just are, okay? Because this is going to work so well, okay? So I'm just going to warn you now. You're going to overdo it, and then you're going to find the sweet spot with it. But it's that fucking powerful, okay? It's that fucking good. So here's all you need to know about urgency. Here's the most important thing you need to know, okay? Urgency is the only reason decisions are made, okay? It is the reason decisions are made. So, without urgency or a deadline, okay, everything gets put off and decisions are never made. Sales never happen, friends never decide, and girls undermine and misjudge your value, okay? They misjudge your value. Without urgency, everything gets put off. Urgency is the reason decisions are made. All right, we have a saying on Team Capital, just thank God for the mountain lion, okay? Thank fucking God for the mountain lion. Here's why. 100,000 years ago, when we're all living in caves and shit, okay? You're at night, you got your cave woman bitch, your cave kids, right? Cave fire. 3 in the morning, trying to sleep, it's cold out, whatever. You hear a growl from outside the cave, all right? It's not a friendly growl, it's a mountain lion growl, okay? So you put up the rocks or whatever, hoping to like block yourself off. I mean, first thing you go is, shit, we gotta leave in the morning. We gotta find a new cave, right? We gotta find a new cave. So you move and you move and you move and you keep moving, and eventually you evolve, and you have kids and they have kids, and you evolve and you evolve, and before you know it, we're here today, okay? Without mountain lions, we would still be in caves, okay? Without the impending doom of death by mountain lion, we would have just hung out there. Thank God for a mountain lion, okay? Thank God for a deadline. Mountain lion gave you a deadline. Mountain lion gave you urgency, all right? The problem is, fuck it. Human beings are natural procrastinators in everything that we do. Okay, natural procrastinators in everything we do. We also are pretty shitty at making decisions. All right, there's a book called The Paradox of Choice. Don't read it. I'm gonna sum it up for you in one sentence. Okay, when you've a lot of choices, you can't decide. There it is. Okay, you've a lot of choices, you can't decide. If there are fucking 10 or 11 options, okay, these are all different options, you can't choose. Okay, you can't choose. I hate it when I'm scrolling through my iPod trying to find a song to listen to in the middle of my workout, and I spend 10 minutes trying to pick the song because I have too many songs, too many choices, okay? If I just had one choice or I had 2 choices, it's much easier for me to make a decision, all right? So we are poor decision makers, especially when there's choice, and there is an abundance of choice in today's world. So people are naturally procrastinating that way, and then we're natural procrastinators anyways. We'll put things off as long as we can because we can. So we need urgency. It's the reason decisions are made, all right? Urgency forces decisions to happen. There's a deadline, right? So you say you're leaving town, and if she wants to see you, it has to happen tonight. Thank you, urgency, right? The promotion for your product or service is ending tonight, so prospective buyers have to make their decision today, right now, before tonight, because it's ending. Thank you, urgency. This is my example, right, of my life. I need the names of everyone coming on the private jet because the pilot needs names, pics of IDs, and wait 3 days in advance or you can't come, okay? If you've ever been on a private jet, I'm sure some of you, it's happened or whatever, right? You always have to send the pilot the IDs and the weight of every passenger because there's only a certain weight that can handle on the size of the jet, especially if it's like a, I think it's called a turboprop, which is like a smaller plane. It can only handle so much weight. So you got to get that stuff in by a deadline. If there's no deadline, no one's sending it in. If there's no deadline, you're not leaving tonight, she knows she can see you later. She doesn't have to decide yet, right? If status is here today, right, and it's going to be here tomorrow, then they don't have to decide today. They can just put it off until tomorrow. But if there's a deadline, it is gone tonight. This is your last chance. You have to decide yes or no now, right? If you say no, it's all good. No worries. A lot of other guys are already in, right? But you got to decide now. Forces decisions to happen. There is urgency. There is a deadline, all right? No one is immune to procrastination anywhere in their life, and no one is immune to the power of urgency when applied the way power influencers apply it, all right? Why did Steve Jobs, alone by himself, demonstrate more genius than the entire team at Xerox? Okay, we like to say that there's a lot of genius in urgency. All right, a lot of people think that like you need all kinds of time. You need 6 weeks to create like a masterpiece of some kind of work or something like that. No, the truth is, if you gave yourself 60 minutes to create it, the final product would be pretty much as good or better as the one that took you 6 weeks. Okay, there's a lot of truth that people think like Walt Disney, for instance, right, would put incredible deadlines on his employees. Right? People quitting, people killing themselves, right? But the work they put out was great. Steve Jobs was notorious for setting deadlines that were crazy, right? When the iPod was first being made and coming out, they thought they needed years to create it. He's like, I need it in 6 weeks. They're like, we can't get it done in 6 weeks. Then you're fucking fired, or you can find a way. They found a way. Okay, there's so much power and urgency. When Steve Jobs, 1979, goes to visit Xerox, which was like the big new computer thing coming out in Palo Alto. And he's 24 years old. He works for Apple. They're like just nothing. They might have even still been in a garage or just moved to offices. But he goes to Xerox and he sees that they have created something that no one else has yet. They figured out how to have a point and click mouse. Okay, at that point, if you wanted to change something on a computer, you had to type in the command, right? It'd be like a flashing thing. You type in the command, then you get it. They figured out, no, you just point and click, right? So he sees this technology and he goes, holy shit. Why haven't you guys like released this yet? This is insane. Or they go, well, there's a lot of bugs with it. We want to fix it. We want to make it perfect, etc. No sense of urgency, right? No sense of urgency. So he goes, all right, cool. Busts out of the fucking Xerox place, sprints over to the Apple computers, right? And he goes to the employees and he goes, drop everything you're doing right now. This is what we have to do. We have to create this mouse and we have to create it before they do. And they go, it's not possible. We can't create it. We barely know. We know almost nothing about the technology. Now, in that moment, a power influencer has two choices, right? Am I going to hold my frame and challenge this person to get it done by this deadline? Or am I going to, all right, you guys, you know what? You're right. You're right. You know more about this than me. If you say it can't be done, it can't be done. Now, fortunately, okay, everyone here has an iPhone. Very fortunate for us. Steve Jobs chose route A. He goes, fuck you. You can get it done. I know you have all these creative capabilities inside you. You just need me to bring it out of you. And that's what he does. He says, I need it in 6 weeks. For some reason, that was his number. He gave everyone 6 weeks for everything, right? Things that should take a year, 6 weeks. So they work on day and night, don't sleep, whatever, it doesn't matter. They get it done, right? And all of a sudden, Apple blows up. And by 1984, I think Steve Jobs went from $0 in the late 70s to 252 million or something like that in 1984. He's on the cover of Time or whatever the fuck it was, right before he got ousted, okay? But it started with the mouse. Steve Jobs had a huge sense of urgency with everything he was doing. He always felt like he was going to die young. It's kind of ironic, right? Kind of fortuitous. But he always felt like he was going to die young, like he had to do this today because he didn't know if tomorrow was going to be there. Michael Jordan always says the same thing. He always talked about in his career, he thought that he was going to die young before the age of 35. So he had to win as many championships as he could now, right? There's a lot of genius in urgency. There's a lot of genius in urgency just for yourself, okay? So understanding that, how powerful it is for yourself, right? You get a lot of leverage for yourself that way, which is good. Let's talk about using it on other people, right, to influence others. So there's three really important components that come with urgency. Okay, three really important components. Number one, it requires a reason why. Okay, there needs to be a reason why there's urgency. You can't just tell someone, I need it by tomorrow, or you got to choose by tomorrow, you got to decide by tomorrow, let me know by tomorrow. You need a reason why. You need a because, okay? Everyone here should know this, but because is one of the most persuasive words in the English language, okay? Tell someone to do something, just add the phrase because and then insert any reason why, and you will be so much more powerfully persuasive, all right? You notice in my emails sometimes I'm like, I'm going to give you this free bonus because you have incredible bone structure, you're just stunningly handsome. Is that a logical reason why? No, does anyone care? They like to flatter you, right? They're like, damn straight I do. I appreciate that. Good looking people get rewarded. I understand it. I agree with that, right? So you could say anything. right? They've done studies, I think it's the very first chapter of Influence, which everyone should read here, where they do a study where they want to see how to cut the line. So there's a printer, and it's like in the middle of Arizona State where it's like really busy. A lot of people come to print stuff, and there's always a line for the printer. So they set up this study. They're like, how can we cut this line? How can I, as a researcher, instead of waiting 10 minutes to make my copies, how can I find the right question to ask this person in order to get them to say, yeah, you can cut me in line? So what they do is he goes up, he's got his papers and his people in line, and he goes to the person in front of him, and he goes, hey, do you mind if I cut the line? That's it, okay? No reason why. Just says, can you mind if I cut the line? And I think it was like 10 or 20% said yes. Most people are. If anyone asked you that, what would you say? Right? No, can't say about it, right? So the next time they come up and they say, hey, do you mind if I cut the line because I only have a few papers I need to print or I need to copy? So now he's got a reason why. Is it a good reason? No. This person might have had only a few copies themselves too, right? Something like 93% of people said yes. Don't quote me on these numbers. I don't remember them exactly. It was almost all of them, okay? And then they went up one more time because they were like, well, is it just the reason why? Because that's a decent reason why. You only have a few. They might have a lot. What if we just say anything? Just any reason why. So he comes up and the same thing, and he goes, mind if I cut the line because I'm in a hurry? Which is ironic, because like what? I'm not in a hurry, you're not in a hurry. Because I'm in a hurry. And it was like almost as many as 93%. It was about 10% less. Okay, so what they found was the reason why doesn't really matter as much as the fact that there is a reason why present. So with urgency, you always want one, a reason why. Two, there needs to be a deadline, right? The deadline and the reason why. So very obvious, right? Here's the deadline, here's what I need to know by because, and then you insert the reason why. And number three is you don't want to associate, you don't want it to seem like a power move, right? You don't want it to seem like you're trying to control someone, like it is contrived. So what you do is you always want to ensure that the reason why is due to forces outside yourself, or for a really like a good reason that has to do with people, right? So we have the deadline, we have the reason why for the deadline. And we always want to ensure that the reason why involves other people. For instance, guys at the Badass Mental Retreat, right? They got 25% off all the products for those 2 days. So you guys have until 4 p.m. today, right? And to hold it off till 7 p.m. today won't really be fair to them because they were there for 2 days for the event and it was a whole thing. And I told them I would never do this again for anyone, but I am doing it for you guys, etc. Like that is the reason why. But that's also, it's not like I'm doing it just to control people, right? No. There's a real reason why. So we have a deadline, we have a reason why, and it's a good reason why. The power move that people will play on you sometimes is they'll try and take the moral high bar with the reason why. Like here's the deadline, and the reason why is we need it in time because I don't know, it's for the kids, right? Or they'll pull some shit on you, like it's for the kids, or because I want to make sure I get this done in time because I want to go see my mom tonight. I haven't seen her in a couple weeks, right? So just let me know by 6 because I got to go see my mom. Right, and you don't want to be the guy who's a dick, like, dude, it won't be done by 6. I can't let you know by 6. You're gonna have to wait. You can't see your mom. No one wants to, like, so they kind of play the moral high bar on you. You can use that too. That works really well. So if you want to think about why, like a reason why, that works. But remember, the reason why almost doesn't matter, right? Hey, I need to know by 6 because I'm really good looking and so are you. It works, okay? It all works. Okay, and just the final tip for you before we get to the next one. It's called Parkinson's Law. Okay, Parkinson's Law. What it means is that work tends to fit the time allotted. Okay, this is the way you use urgency for yourself. Okay, so again, after reading Dan Kennedy's No BS Time Management, this was something that really stuck with me. I don't even know if he mentions the law. I'd known about it, but he kind of bases his stuff on it. So let's say I'm creating, I don't know, let's say I'm working on a new live event, like a new seminar at the Capitol Compound, okay? If I just like I want to do X, Y, and Z for this event. I want to prepare all those things for it, right? I want it to be this good. This is what I want it to have. If I'm working on this, and if you're working on anything yourself the same way, okay, if this is what I know I want to accomplish, and I don't add an end time to like how much time I have to complete it, we will keep going with it forever, right? We'll never know, when is it done? How the fuck would you know when it's done, right? Because you're like, it could always be better. So you'll keep going and keep going and keep going. What you need to do is you need to set an end time. You need to allot a certain amount of time that you will allow yourself to work on this thing. And the minute you reach that point, you do not continue past that point, right? You stop right there and you're done. The minute that time happens, that was the deadline you set, you're done. If I'm writing a new book and I say I can dedicate 45 hours to this, when 45 hours hits, that's it. Book is done. Okay? That's how really productive entrepreneurs operate. That's it, I'm done. Okay? And the reason for this, I'll also tell you, is they didn't need a year to create the iPod, right? I don't know how long they took. Maybe it was a year. Maybe they didn't need 5 years to create it, right? I didn't need, I don't know, 150 hours to create Power Influence. I knew I could do it in about 70. Okay, I knew I could do it in about 70 hours. So that's the amount of time I gave myself to work on it and to create it. Okay, so you need to always pre-allot amount of time. Like whatever you're working on, you have this thing coming up, like tell yourself, this is the amount of time I'm willing to allot to this thing. And then plan it out. So I'll work in chunks of 1 hour at a time. I got 10 hours for this thing. Monday, 1 hour, Tuesday, 2 hours, and you plan it out in advance. And the minute you're done, you're done. Okay? And Parkinson's law states, again, work tends to fit the time allotted. If you gave yourself 100 hours, you'd get done in 100 hours. But if you gave yourself 20, you'd still get it done in 20. You'd find the way. Who here has ever found the way to get something done in way less time than they thought it would take? Because they had a sense of urgency when they were working on it. Okay? You should, as an entrepreneur, have that sense of urgency in everything you do. All right? Lackadaisical work is no work at all. It's bullshit. Okay? When I'm working at the compound, dude, I'm not like chilling. Like, it's still amazing to me how I've been able to maintain like my carefree attitude with how hard I go at working at stuff, and how when I plan my stuff, it's by the minute, right? Like everything. But it's unlike that on purpose, right? Because I know if I give myself 45 minutes to write a newsletter, I'm gonna fucking find a way to get it done. And I'm not sitting there going on Facebook every couple of minutes coming back. It's everything shuts off, and I gotta get it done. I have a countdown timer. It's just a little productivity tip, dude. I have a countdown timer on a tab open. So if I'm writing, there's a timer here counting down, letting me know how much time I have left. I have on my phone a timer going at the same time. Okay? I have an Iron Man like collector's item, this red little fucker. He looks like Iron Man, he's badass. All right, and he lights up when the time goes off. I have a timer there. Okay? And then usually I have a clock in front of me that I can see also. So I have 4 different symbols letting me know urgency matters, time matters, okay? Because I want these constant priming reminders all around me all the time, keeping me aware of that shit. Okay, that's how you get a lot of shit done. All right, that's how I get more done in a day than most people get in a month. That's how fucking Elon Musk gets it done, right? Who gets more done in a day than the world does in a year, okay? So that will do it for this section. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace, man.